Hey, welcome to the finale of the Crash Bandicoot Let's Play, where we get the remaining 2 gems, finally tackle Fumbling in the Dark, and see the good ending of the game. So let's start things off with Jungle Rollers, and can you believe it's been 11 parts since we've last played this level? It's crazy, that's around 2.5 hours of game time. And looking back at it, it really doesn't take me a long time to 100% this game and get the good ending. I think the average gamer would take around maybe 4 hours, 5 hours maybe stretching it, but who knows. Levels like Slippery Climb, Cortex Power, and especially Fumbling in the Dark could give a player a lot of trouble on their first run through. Fumbling in the Dark gave me a whole bunch of issues, both physically and mentally, because I was just ripping my hair out with that stage the first time I was going through that. And I'm sure many others were as well, perhaps maybe even to a greater degree than I was. So, Jungle Rollers. We need the green gem in this stage for one part in the middle of the level where the gem just takes us up to boxes we couldn't get before just because we didn't have the green gem at hand, which is lame, and it's coming up right here. We just take this gem up and we get 3 extra life boxes, so that's lame. I would prefer the Great Gate over this stage any day, just because I have to earn those boxes. I like a challenge. I prefer to earn my things rather than just being given them, you know what I'm saying? Well, not everything. I would love to have money just being thrown at me. That would be cool, but that is not what life is all about, unfortunately. But anyway, this stage is actually featured in the demo disc for Crash Bandicoot, so this stage is what got people excited for the game. This is what made people decide whether they want to buy the game or not, and it must have looked incredible going from a 2D Super Nintendo era into Crash Bandicoot full-fledged 3D. It must have looked crazy. Unfortunately, I was too young at that time. I wasn't able to be a part of something like that, but whatever. Also, this is considered the easiest stage in the game. Insanity Beach is the first level we play, but people think that stage is harder because there is a bridge section with a full set of crates. Now, it's not that hard to get through that, but to get the gem in that level requires some amount of skill controlling Crash's bounce. So I understand why Insanity Beach is considered harder, but to me, both stages are incredibly simple. It doesn't really matter, you know, pick whatever. I can beat them no problem. So, the time has finally come. We have all the gems from every stage except one. And, oh boy. Oh man, why? Why? I mean, first of all, I'm scared of the dark. I don't like the dark in the first place, and now I gotta go fumbling in it? Like, what the fuck? But I've put it on long enough. We have to do this. We gotta do this here and now. This is Fumbling in the Dark. So first off, we gotta go fucking backwards, because that's awesome, right? Because we can't even see while we're going backwards. You just have to know that there's a gap there. And if you don't know that there's boxes back here and then complete the stage, well, fuck you, do the stage again. And these aren't easy gaps to get through either. It's pretty hard to go through these doorways because your head is always hitting the top. So you gotta be pretty precise, and you gotta be good with Crash's jump, or else you're gonna be dying quite a few times here. So once we get these boxes, we can proceed with the rest of the stage, and if you recall in Lights Out, the only way we can see in this level is with Aku Aku. That means that if you get hit, Aku Aku disappears and you have no light source, and then you're going to be literally fumbling in the dark. So even if you're not getting the gem and you just want to beat the level, you're going to have to do a no-hit run anyway, because you can't see if you get hit. Aku Aku is mandatory for this stage. It just is. There's too many sections where there's just bottomless pits with little tiny platforms, little tiny square platforms like these where you have to go on, and you can't see these while it's dark. So you're fucked if you get hit. Now, I have to admit something here. I thought I was going to have a much harder time with this stage than I actually did. During my test playthrough for the game, I must have died at least 30 times before I finally completed this stage, and that's how hard it is. But all that practicing, all that trial and error that I did during the test playthrough must have paid off, because that first death that we see at the beginning where I hit my head off the top and fall into the bottomless pit, that is the only death I take. This is the only run that you're gonna see because I actually complete the stage in this run. It's astounding. I can't believe this. I thought that I was going to have a montage of deaths to showcase, and I was just going to do a full-fledged death after death, show you how much trouble I was going to have and how funny it was going to be, how much torture I put myself through just to fucking beat this level and get the gem. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. Well, not unfortunately, because, I mean, I at least I still have my sanity, but I don't get to make you guys laugh with the montage now, so that kind of sucks. But at the same time, I fucking kicked ass, man, and I'm proud of it. I'm proud that all I had to do was die once at the beginning of the stage, and then I was able to just go from beginning to end with no trouble at all. It was a pure adrenaline rush. It was like one of those things where you see a task, you see a challenge ahead of you, and you're just pumped. You're just pumped to do it, and it's like you get superhuman strength, superhuman skills like speed, awareness, whatever, and you're just able to do the task that you thought was incredibly difficult in such an easy and simplified way. I'm extremely proud. I'm very proud of how much anal penetration I was able to provide to Fumbling in the Dark, and well, it's not going to go to the doctor's office anytime soon because I think it's had enough anal probing for one day. But anyway, we have all the gems, so we can finally go into the Great Hall, and the gems create a pathway for us to jump over and reach Tawna where she's being held captive. But before we do that, I want to show you guys one more thing. If you leave Crash idle for a while and you don't push any buttons, this is what he does. And I absolutely love it because it really brings to life the goofball character that is Crash Bandicoot. But anyway, enough procrastinating. Let's do this. Let's finally get our girlfriend. Let's finally get that hot piece of ass. Oh, wait. Let's finally get the female Bandicoot, Tawna, from the clutches of Cortex. And one last point I want to make is that the colored gems are not used for this pathway. Only the 20 clear gems are used in order to reach Tawna. So, we've done it. We finally beat Crash Bandicoot, unless I die. That's one last obstacle you gotta get through, is don't fall. But anyway, once you clear the path, the curtains come up and we see Tawna waiting for our arrival. Crash and Tawna fly into the night sky on a bird, and our hero Crash is probably gonna get late tonight. It's a fair bet. So what's the reward for getting all the gems? What's the reward for putting us through the pain of a no-death run, basically? Well, we get to find out what all the characters in the game end up doing with their lives. So, Papu sold the ruins of Castle Cortex to a resort developer. He then used the proceeds to open a big and tall shop on the island. Welcome to Stewie's Big and Tall Shop. Oh, Family Guy. After intense therapy and 8 years of higher education, Dr. Wu went on to write the well-received book, Through the Eye of the Vortex, a study of rapid evolution and its consequences. Koala Kong moved to Hollywood and landed a motion picture deal of universal proportions. Currently, he is working with a speech therapist to improve his diction. Look at that ass, though. That ass. That toned ass. Pinstripe moved to Chicago, where he now owns and operates a citywide sanitation company. He is saving money for his upcoming gubernatorial campaign. So he went from running a nuclear plant to a sanitation company and a mob leader to running for state governor. That's great. Good for him. After the disappearance of his mentor, Dr. Nitrous Brio rediscovered his first love, tending bar. I hope he doesn't get the chemicals and the drinks mixed up, because you're not getting tips after that. The world has heard nothing more of Cortex since Crash foiled his plans, but evil geniuses are harder to squash than cockroaches. So that was Crash Bandicoot, guys. We've beaten the game, we've gotten 100%, we have the good ending of the game, and we rescued our girl. Thank you for watching my Let's Play. I hope you've enjoyed the whole run through. If you've watched all my gem collecting videos, then I have to say a personal thank you to you, because that is just undying support, and clearly I'm doing something right if I'm keeping your attention for this long. So I strongly recommend playing this game if you haven't before. Maybe not go after all the gems, because even I'll admit that the gem collecting in this game is bullshit. And it doesn't really matter anyway, because if you're going to play the game after watching this, then you already seen the good ending of the game. You don't need to do it over again just to see what happens. So, you're welcome. I've saved you a lot of time and agony. But what more can I say? The good ending of the game feels rewarding enough. It gives us a little laugh here and there. And now that I think about it, it says that Pinstripe moved to Chicago. So is the Crash Bandicoot games on Earth? Maybe it's just a joke. Maybe I'm just reading too much into it. But whatever. It does feel pretty cool. And it feels pretty rewarding to find out what happens to the evil bosses of the game after the game is finished. It's just a cool, neat little idea that not many games do at all. And usually bosses are like one-dimensional flat characters unless it's the main boss and main antagonist of the game. But anyway, next time we meet in the Crash Bandicoot universe, we're going to be tackling Crash Bandicoot 2, Cortex Strikes Back. An amazing and fun game, and our hero Crash actually gets a makeover. So, once again, I hope you've enjoyed the Let's Play, I hope you've enjoyed the gem collecting, and I thank you for sticking around. See you guys later. Oh, and I hope you weren't too grossed out about Bandicoot porn. Or maybe it gave you some ideas. Who knows?